ALF, Assistance Living Facility, ou même qui t'a remis ouvert yon health care, ou t'a remis ouvert yon home care, yon nan pi go expert dans le domaine ça ap là. C'est Madame Caroline Cadet François qui vient parler comment il fait succès dans le domaine ça. Nous t'a remis pour là, ou même qui c'est un nurse, qui c'est un docteur, qui c'est un LPN, vin tande événement ça, vin tande conseil ça yo, ou pas continuer travailler avec moun, avec tête ou. N'a gagné AI et technologie. Comment on peut utiliser les outils ça pour transformer business ou? N'a gagné real estate and investor and broker. Nous ou même qui t'a remis gain kay rêve ou. Qui ça gagne en termes de ressources dans zone pam nan k'ap gagne kay rêve moyen. Eh bien n'a gagné moun KAPLAN, un realtor et broker qui ba toute explication nécessaire qu'on capable utiliser ressources bien outils qui disponible dans zone pa ou là. A gagné finance ou même qui nan t'a remis grandi business ou. Gen grant qui disponible pour ou. N'a gen moun t'a aider ou joindre grant sa yo k'ap aider ou grandi business ou même t'a gen une assurance k'ap gen une sécurité pour la vie ou demain n'a gen tout moun sa yo tout expert sa yo k'ap vinn expliquer ou comment qu'a grandi business ou comment qu'a ouvert business ou comment qu'a créer une richesse dans propre communauté pa ou. Mes amis, yon di l'autre propager nouvelle là pour nous. Comment qu'a inscrit ou aller dans Connexion Plus ministry.com en prend ticket pour là mes amis, pas rater occasion ça, réserver site pour la n'attend tout le monde.
C'est Nicole Alexis, moi sorti New York. Chaque jeudi, chaque vendredi à 8h, 9h, moi branché Connexion Plus. Connexion Plus, c'est moi-même, c'est vous-même, c'est lui-même, c'est nous tous.
Bonsoir, je suis pasteur Raymond Benjamin qui vous souhaite la plus cordiale bienvenue sur Connexion Plus. Merci de votre fidélité, merci d'avoir connecté. Nous avons un panel qui est très chargé à soya. Nous allons parler d'un sujet qui est très important. Nous vivons dans une société qui en pile monde a fait face avec un pile défi. Et la vie elle-même est faite de défis. Avec année ça yo qui continuer là et sur dans mois ça yo défis augmenté. De nous dans le cadre monde qui pas dans travail gagne environ de 3,8 millions de monde qui fait du travail. Ça a créé un pile de défis. De nous regarder Amazon, pour révoquer près de 600 000 monde, encore, ça va créer plus de défis. Défis maladie, défis finance, défis en employment, défis financier, tout bagage ça et tout ça constitue un lot. Défi immigration, pour ne pas citer que ça seulement. Donc, une société a demandé pour nous vivre dans un monde pour compte nous, ce n'est pas normal. Il va demander un pile support. Support famille, support mari, support madame, support amis, support l'église, nous, support groupe que nous adhérer là-dedans. C'est là pourquoi à soi nous gagnons, un panel qui est très rempli, nous allons parler de comment on peut aider les gens à embrasser des filles. Nous voulons connaître que des filles, ils ne sont pas là pour longtemps. Mais lorsqu'on embrasse de façon positive, ça lui crée la carrière, n'est-ce pas, une maturité extraordinaire. Il y a plus de résilience. Il y a, n'est-ce pas, une et il bon façon pour capable comprendre l'autre monde lorsque dans une situation difficile là. Ou un monde avec empathie. Ou garder monde avec compassion. Il bon résilience, il bon n'est-ce pas et un mental qui est très fort lorsque nous traversons situation yo, on veut comme défi ça yo, on va sortir comme des vaincus, des vainqueurs. Nous souhaitons déjà prendre une chaise ba ou, devant le téléphone, devant le computer ou, nous avons le temps de nous avons avec nous 3 avocats, 2 défenses avocats et un prosécuteur. Et s'il vous plaît, nous avons une belle mademoiselle qui parle de nous translate émission ça, il n'y a pas fait en anglais, en créole. Les mêmes tout, c'est un professionnel dans la question mental health, mais nous comprendre comment capable de faire face à des défis. Nous avons pause, nous avons tourné tout à l'heure.
Living and Caregivers Conference is Florida's #1 conference for senior care entrepreneurs.
Carlene and the entire team, unbelievable, and I encourage everybody to come here to learn.
Carlene is very much in the forefront of the development of assisted living facilities, and what's so amazing is that she has the foresight.
And my experience was really amazing. I've got to meet so many people, learn about different avenues of business that I didn't even know were important and super prevalent in this area. So I feel like I've gained a lot of knowledge.
Elaine is an innovator in this area. I think that this specific event has merged both the providers of health for the elderly and for the assisted living industry in itself, but it also has given such insight to families.
I think it's extremely beneficial to attend conferences like this, and it's extremely beneficial because you're able to network, you're able to meet different people from different avenues that can help with developing your ALF.
Today I learned a lot, especially living in a state like Florida where, we have a high demand for things like this. So I think that this is a great program to, engage with the community and provide insights on, assisted living.
It is to bring you pure value and resources that will change your life. Register today and I will see you in the room.
Good evening, Connection Police family. I'm Vladimir. You guys know me by now. But still got to give you guys an introduction. FLADIMIR CELUNICE. I'm a prosecutor here with the 15th Judicial Circuit. I am honored by my guests here. I have Tim Copeland. He's here with us. KAPLAN, sorry. He's here with us from the Public Defender's Office. And I have Jerry Williams III. He's with us from the Public Defender's Office as well. And we have our interpreter here for tonight. Would you all mind introducing yourselves? I already did, but just more of an introduction.
Sure. Bonsoir, KONEKSYON Plus viewers. I'm glad to be back with my good friend Flad and my good friend Jerry. And then Porcelain, it's nice to meet you. I'm glad to be back, and I'm excited for the conversation. I'm a public defender at the Florida's 15th Judicial Circuit in Palm Beach County. And like I said, I'm excited to be back. Thanks for having me.
Good afternoon, KONEKSYON Plus. My name is Jerry Williams. This is my second appearance on the show. I'm also a public defender here in West Palm Beach, originally from Miami, and I'm excited to be here to share my story with you all.
Right. Bonsoir tout le monde. I'm sorry, what was your first name again?
My first name?
Yeah.
Tim.
Tim. Ça c'est Tim, ça c'est Jerry, et c'est un avocat avec un Public Defender Office dans Palm Beach County. Yo là, so y'a pour un bel sujet qui n'a traité ensemble. Et non, moi c'est Posline, c'est moi-même qui a traduit pour nous à soya. Merci.
Merci.
So the pastor's introduction was really talking about just some of the struggles that we're facing in today's time. Some of the things that we've seen in the courtroom that some defendants are going through, victims are going through, just the climate that we're in. He touched on immigration as well, and just some of the financial hardships that are going on in today's time. What I have here and what I've aligned as far as the questions is it has to do with purpose. So I think once you are able to find purpose or redefine purpose, you're able to kind of navigate through those struggles that we're seeing today. So with that being said, I'd like each of you to give me your personal definition of purpose. But I'm gonna have you translate.
OK. So, Pasteur Ben t'a introduit choix après-midi, comme on a parlé des difficultés que nous, tout le monde a passé pendant le jour, nous, immigration, son problème, travail, et puis, connexion entre ça et but ou gain pour la vie, c'est que l'offre nous connaît qui sauve les faire avec la vie ou qui mission les plus facile pour nous capables et les problèmes ça revenir, les difficultés ça revenir pour capable rencontrer eux, les plus facile pour nous faire ça, et nous connaît but la vie nous.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I think, and this is something I've talked about on my prior appearances here. I think, as everybody knows, as Pastor Ben knows, I do believe in God. I'm a person of faith. So it's actually easy for me to define purpose in my life. Purpose to me is what God wants you to do. And I think that is not easy whatsoever to discover for yourself. It a lot of times takes a lifetime of learning to figure out what your purpose is, and you can have different purposes for different things, but I think for me in my life, my motivation to do a lot of the stuff that I've done, my motivation to do my career is that I believe that my purpose, among others, is to help others in need. Obviously, I have, a purpose to I think it's my purpose to have a family, raise kids, but as far as the thing that I do every day, it's to help others who need it.
OK. So, il dit que ils sont monde qui croient dans bon Dieu, ils sont monde qui gain foi, et pour lui même définition pour but la vie c'est que ça c'est ça bon Dieu ba ou. But ka changer dépend de qui côté ou dans vie et en même temps il connaît que y en a but c'est que pour lui marier, pour lui lever une famille, mais il vraiment veut aider monde. Ça c'est un but dans vie connaît.
Mr. Williams, what's your definition of purpose?
I can piggyback off Mr. KAPLAN. I think your purpose is more so along the lines of finding true happiness, right? It could be in the person, it could be in a career path, it could be in something you just truly admire every day, like fishing, or going to church, or just spending time with friends and family. For me personally, it was definitely a lifelong journey of finding my purpose. I love sports. It started with sports, and then it kind of shifted when things got hard, and then I just had to maintain my faith. I had to maintain integrity as a person, as a man, and just finding true happiness. And I didn't stumble upon law. I always wanted to be an attorney. And when the journey got hard, I just kept going. And eventually, I was true. It made me happy for real. Not just helping people, but I could say ultimately just finding in every walks of life, someone just need a helping hand. Just someone just needs a shoulder to lean on. Someone just needs to hear your story. And I just think with as far as purpose goes, it's pretty. That's a big word, and I think every letter means something. So, just being able to, step into that light, step into that, just walk the path. That's the purpose. The purpose gonna be lifelong till I'm 80 years old, 85, 98, 99. The purpose. That's a big word.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, huge.
Okay. So, l'ITK, mission, but c'est que pour chercher contentement, regarder ça dans un monde, dans carrière, dans bail que vous admirez, soit en activité que vous aimez faire, aller à l'église, et puis tout son bail qui pas jamais fini, vous allez commencer à il dit que vous allez arriver 90, 85 ans, ou toujours à chercher ou toujours à chercher bail que vous aimez faire. Et puis tout, qu'il était toujours besoin pour venir un avocat. Et c'est que pendant l'affaire là, ça mène qu'il est content, c'est pas juste un travail lié pour lui, mais il vraiment aimé ça l'affaire parce qu'il y a une opportunité pour lui aider les gens. Et en dernier pas, il dit que chercher un but dans la vie son gros mot lié. C'est pas un bagage ou juste qui est achevé de aujourd'hui à demain, mais son processus lié.
I think for me, as far as purpose, just piggybacking off of both your responses, me being someone of the faith, I believe when you're looking at purpose, when you're looking at when you're looking at purpose, you got to think about the Creator. So the Creator gives you purpose. If the person who created this laptop created it for a purpose, the purpose was there first, and then the creation came about. So for us, when you're looking at it from the Creator standpoint, He doesn't just create, He creates and then He gives instruction. The instruction guides you to your purpose. So the first instruction He gave us was be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion over the world. As far as being fruitful and multiplying, I think that's pretty self-explanatory, right? But having dominion over the world has changed so much. The Bible does say there's nothing new under the sun, and I don't believe there is. But when we're looking at it in a detail-oriented way, there are a lot of changes. There's advancements in technology. We created laws. We're constantly changing these laws. So having dominion over the world, you have to encompass all of those things. So different jobs have been carved out because of the advancements of just society in itself. So I think what makes it a lifelong task is being able to carry out the second part, the second direction He gave us of having dominion over the world. Like, what does that look like? What does that look like when you're 20? What does that look like when you're 40, when you're 30? So for me, I chose this topic because you can always have something to say about it, The second question is
Can I just
go ahead, do that.
I just wanted to, because I felt like I really agreed with what you said, and I think Jerry talked about it a little bit. All of us were in sports as a kid, right?
Yeah.
And I know you were in college. I know you did it right up to the end of high school. I think we each have our individual purpose, but I feel like in life it's like it's a fair thing to say that all of our purposes try to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Part of trying to do the right thing is knowing how to do the right thing. Part of knowing how to do the right thing is learning how to achieve your goals. The reason why I think, and I've said this to Jerry a couple times, this profession that we're in is almost the perfect profession for a former athlete, because when the jury gets sworn in, everything's it's up in the air. It's up in the air. Everything's up in the air. You don't know what's going to come down. And part of doing the right thing is performing under pressure. And that's what we're taught to do 5 days a week. All, you know, for people who took sports seriously, year round. And like, you know, like you've said before, Flad, and it is not easy, you know. Doing the right thing is not easy, but when you train, you're able to fulfill your purpose because you've been under pressure before. You've been through, like Jerry talked about, you've been through the dark times, the hard times before. So I just wanted to add that in.
I'm glad you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally.
Good. So, une belle conversation qui a passé entre Vlad avec Tim. So, Vlad t'a expliqué pour lui-même mission la vie nous sorti dans créateur qui c'est nous parler de bon Dieu parce que tout le monde qui là c'est monde qui nous croit dans bon Dieu, nous croit et c'est lui qui t'a créé nous et il dit comme ça créateur a créé nous avec un but, avec une raison. Premièrement, il dit nous pour nous et be fruitful and multiply. So pour nous peupler la terre. Que tout le monde comprenne ça veut dire. Que il dit tout pas rien qui nouveau sur la terre, mais il y a des changements qui fait. Il y a des travail bon Dieu créé, il y a là pour une raison. Et en plus tout, la deuxième partie c'est que bon Dieu bon nous dominion pour nous gagner sur toute la terre et que c'est pas ça qui est un petit genre plus difficile pour nous achever. Et pendant la parler et cela veut dire raisonner avec Tim, mes réponses c'est que nous toutes essayer pour nous faire bagay qui bon, mais en même temps nous connaît que il pas tout le temps facile pour nous faire bagay qui bon. So li connecté que tous les trois, les étaient jeunes, ils étaient quand jouer sport. All you play football?
I did wrestling.
Oh, okay. So, li te fait wrestling, il a joué football. So, li connecté et il fait une analogie entre un monde qui compte jouer football pour jouer, faut faire répétition, faut aller dans practice, faut capable performer en bas en pile pression, on a suivi, on a regardé et il connecté ça avec Léon Lawyer aller devant le tribunal, il y a un jury qui a suivi depuis le film du jury OK que ça va commencer, il même c'est les pas pour performer. So il fait connexion ça qui il pas facile pour faire ça qui bon, mais l'entraîner ou les gens plus facile pour capable réussir ça.
Analogy. I like that.
Silly. So, you two, do you believe that purpose is something you find, or do you believe that it's something that's already predetermined and is just waiting to be revealed?
Want me to go first? You want?
Anyone?
Yeah.
Whoever's ready.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
You ready?
We can switch it up. Yeah. It's definitely waiting to be revealed. Because I believe it's internal. It was always in you. And that's why you got to find it, right? That's why you got to explore a little bit and dig deep. Because you know, stepping into this path as an attorney, no one saw it in me. I didn't see it in me. And then when I got here, it was just like, wow, this is the place I was supposed to be my entire life. And with that, I think it's definitely in you. You just can't give up on yourself. You can't give up on your dreams. And you gotta always find your dreams and chase your dreams and find your purpose. A purpose is a lifelong journey, whether it's with family or your friends or yourself or your career. Your career it may take you different places. Your family, you're gonna take you different places. You're gonna have kids. You're gonna plant your seed. You're gonna multiply, right? So your purpose is definitely something that's in you and something that you get, that you gotta find and dig deep for. Mr. Kaplan.
Yeah, I Jerry said it basically perfect. And it's funny because I feel like part of what you were saying is you gotta, so to answer your question, I do think it's planned for you, but I feel like you gotta take the right steps in your life for it to be revealed to you. All of us, Jerry, you left your comfort zone, you went to Tampa, you left your comfort zone, you went to Tennessee, right?
I was everywhere.
You were all over the place.
Football just, yeah, I was everywhere.
You gotta, it's my belief, you gotta leave your comfort zone. You gotta leave the town you were born in. You can come back, or the city you were born. You can come back. But part of the journey of finding your purpose, I feel like, is you gotta go out and, like you said, you gotta go out and explore. You gotta go out and explore the world. You have to see situations and people different from where you grew up. You know what I mean? But I do believe it's planned, but I also believe that you have to go out and seek it. You have to go out and seek it in order for it to be revealed to you. And sometimes, a lot of times, we think that we know our purpose when we're 18, 19, 20, but you gotta keep exploring, and eventually you will find it if you make the right decisions. If you, like you said, Jerry, keep trying, keep pushing. That's how I feel.
OK. So, question c'est que est-ce que but dans la vie ou mission la vie ou son bagay qui est en là ou bien c'est ou même qui peut chercher. So, Jerry te répond que nous fait avec lui et l'apton pour lui révéler. Mais c'est eux qui peut chercher. Lui expliquer lui-même pour carrière parle, lui vient un avocat, lui pas trouver ça dans tête lui et l'autre monde parle, mais kounya pendant la fête là, pendant une vocation, lui ka ouais que c'est ça il était né pour lui faire. Et puis tout il dit que partir par un différent, il y a un côté qui est différent, mais c'est pour commencer. Et tu me réponds que lui est d'accord avec lui, mais il dit que faut qu'on travaille pour ça. Faut qu'on prenne des décisions pour arriver côté pour arriver à et garder les obligés sortir dans zone de confort pour capable et ouais monde là non l'autre perspective dans perspective l'autre monde ouais situation qui est différente pour capable comprendre mais lui là mais c'est pour chercher il pas venir comme ça c'est pour travailler pour lui.
I think you both answered that like to the T, like wonderfully, because it was basically a trick question. I was trying to trick you guys, because it's all those things. It is something that you have to stumble across, and it is something that's predetermined as well. Like we all have individual skills, right, that we use in the courtroom. Those are skills that were placed in us. Yeah, you sharpen those skills, you hone in on them, but there's certain things that they didn't have to teach you. There's certain things they didn't have to teach you. There's certain things they didn't have to teach me. And all of those are things that we're equipped with to do our jobs. But you do have to, like you said, get out of your comfort zone. You got to see what's out there. When you do get out of your comfort zone and you see what's out there and you get your backs against the wall, you make certain decisions. Those decisions highlight who you are internally. So when those decisions are made or when you're faced with certain challenges, it leads you down the path to figuring out who you are and what you're ultimately supposed to be doing. So that's exactly right. Like, get out there, get out of your comfort zone, experience things in order for you to go down the right path to figure out, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing with myself. Go ahead, Preston.
So Vlad dit qu'il est d'accord avec réponse yo et puis tout il t'a passé un truc but il répond une question bien. So il just réitérer que gain des et stratégie nous gain des skills nous gain li getan en dedans nous li getan là mais faut que nous travailler faut que nous sorti dans zone de confort nous parce que l'on fait ça gain des quand on arrive obligé prendre des décisions et décisions ça même après de ouais qui est souillé et après de aller dans où tu dois aller.
So, just speaking to experiences, can you guys give an example of how discomfort or failure was a part of the process to discovering ultimately what you guys wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've had like the experience of failure. I feel like I've had 3 big moments in my life that were what I feel like were big failures that I'm still not over. I mean, you know, when you're young and you dedicate your life to sports, bro, and you fail, it's just heartbreaking and you never forget it. I'll say 3 things. When I didn't, so my senior year in high school, it always sounds bad saying I woulda, coulda, shoulda, you know. But I placed in the state tournament. I placed 5th in the state tournament in wrestling, but I knew I was good enough to win it. I knew I was good enough to be state champ. And it still bothers me. It still bothers me to talk about it. And that was, I'm 30. That was when I was 18. It still bothers me. Fast forward 5 years later, I'm in my senior year of college. I was one win away from placing in the district. I wouldn't have gone to nationals, but I would have been able to leave college and say I was a district place winner. And at that point, you know, I was 22 or 23. That's 8 or 9 years of me wrestling 6 days a week, 365. Basically dedicated my whole life to it up until that point, from age 14 or 15 to 22, 23. And then I graduated college, and I graduated in 2019. And so it's fast forward January 2020, I could not find a job. I thought I got a college degree, and I was coaching wrestling. I was working at Gillette Stadium, but I couldn't find like a real career. I was trying to work in like either a newspaper or a TV or radio station. Nothing. Couldn't get anything. It was a blessing because what ended up happening was COVID hit. I couldn't go into the schools anymore. I couldn't coach. And that failure is not being able to get a job after what I thought. I did everything I thought I was supposed to do. I went to college, got a degree, couldn't find a job in something that I wanted to do. Those failures led me to start studying for the LSAT. And that began the path. That would have been 5 years ago. That began my path towards where I am today. And that's just kind of a truism about life, I believe. And I think you guys will agree with me. Failures lead you to success. Whether it puts you on a different path or makes you double down on the path you're already on. You can't appreciate anything if you didn't work hard to get it, you know? And those 3 failures, I feel like put me on my purpose towards where I am today and towards success in law school and success in getting the career that I wanted since I started law school. Was I wanted to be a criminal defense attorney. And it's funny how life works, you know?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So, question c'est que qui échec ou prendre dans la vie qui non sens ede yo. So ti m explike lè te gen 18 an, li te kon baso, e li tal nan kompetisyon, e li pran 5e plas, men li konen ke li te kapab premier, e sa afekte l'anpil, e jiska nou jou, imagino 12 an de cela, ki sa toujou afekte li. E li pale tou ke lè te gen 22 an, li fin gradye kolej, men li pa kajoun travay. La travay kom coach nan l'ekol, la travay ordinaire, mais ça te vle faire li pas ka fel. Et puis tout COVID vini, l'école yo fermé, so ça vin limiter li plus, mais trois bagay sa yo vin pousser li pour capable commencer étudier pour examen yo le LSAT, qui c'est examen sa yo avocat prend avant pour aller dans l'école pour venir avocat. So li di que trois échecs sa yo vraiment aider li parce que yo balon leçon, c'est que leur point échec soit li la mettre non l'autre position, non l'autre carrière, ou bien dans la faut travail plus pour capable achever bio que vle. So li di kounya et tout ça a été rivel, mais kounya la travail côté le vle a, ça le vle a, et li ka wè que et la bien succès dans ça l'affaire.
Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. Honestly, I say I failed my entire life. For real. At 16, 17, when I thought I failed, right? I don't think it was a fail. I think it was a shift.
Yeah.
Not getting a high enough SAT score, so I got to go to community college. Going to community college and really finding my major, right? I didn't know my major when I took my SAT score. Went to community college, found my major, which turned out to be political science, which turned out to be a major that completely challenged me, completely changed anywhere I've ever thought in life. I had a teacher, Manu Samotra. He challenged a thought that I had in my junior year of school, where he said, I thought I was just in it for the money, right? He said, "Why do you want to be a criminal defense attorney?" And I was like, "Oh, for the money. Why not? I make a lot of money. I get to take care of my family." And that was at the beginning of the semester. So he said, "I'm gonna come back to you at the end of the semester." So at the end of the semester, after we written papers, after we, talked about political theory of yourself, he was like, "Why do you want to be a criminal defense attorney?" And he spotted me out in front of the entire class, and he just stopped the class, and he asked me out of nowhere. This was nowhere on topic. And I was just like, just take care of my family. Not about the money, just make sure everyone's straight. Not even about the security. It was just, for me, it was about just pure happiness and just having, going back to the purpose, but just having something to look back on is just say it was secure, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward to that similar LSAT story, where I didn't get another high enough score on the LSAT, and I thought my dreams of being an attorney was squashed, right? So I did what normal people would do, what I thought not normal, but I did what I did, and I took 2 years off. I was depressed, I was lonely. I ended up getting fired from my job at a job working at a mortgage company, right? It was 3 months after I graduated college. I thought I was good, making $18 an hour. Got fired 3 months in, just signed the lease. Failure, right? That was failure. Got fired. Now I'm without a job. I took the LSAT, got a low score. And I'm like, what do I do next? So for the next 2 years, it was just, I had the best time of my life. After failure, I had the best time of my life. In college, it was just like, I was always studying in school, and then right after I took the LSAT and I failed, I was just like, well, let me just take some time off and get back to finding Jerry. Similar situation. COVID hits. And I go into law school. I signed up for law school, and the admission counselor was like, "Why didn't you sign up last year? Why didn't you sign up the year before?" She was out. We were gonna give you money. We're still gonna give you money, but you were able to do it. you could have done it, right? You should have done it. And
COVID.
I go in and law school completely blesses me. They bless me. I get a poster, like Pastor Ben. I get a poster. I make CNN. I'm the story child of the entire school, right? Here's little old Jerry who thought he failed his entire life that led to then now, right? But you would think discovering this, failure was over with. No, I graduated law school, failed the bar. Failed the bar my first time, which is the admissions test to become an attorney, as you all know. And with failing the bar, I discovered my passion for learning again. I discovered why I was a student in the first place, why I wanted to be an attorney in the first place. And I passed it, met these two fine young gentlemen in West Palm Beach after I moved from Miami, and I'm here today, just based strictly off failures, based strictly off changing the plans, changing the path, because whatever path you got stuck in your head may not be the path that God intended for you. So just keep going, keep pushing, and don't let failure dictate your life. A change of the path might be the change for the best.
I gotta process.
It's
OK. So, histoire Jerry a son témoignage. Son témoignage. Et il expliquait que toute la ville est gampille, il fait un pile échec. Et dans high school, il prend SAT. SAT, c'est un examen, si on prend les dans senior ou bien junior dans high school, puis aller dans collège. So, il prend scolarité était vraiment bas. So, il pas qu'à dans collège dans Tevla, il obligé rester dans community college boy ici là. Et là, il pas gagné en major. So, pendant l'arrivée, il tombé dans political science qui c'est ça en pile avocat point. Pendant l'école là, il y a un professeur qui dans ce cas taquiner, qui pousser, qui encourager, qui fait penser pour quelle raison il voulait devenir avocat. Avant, il pensait que c'était pour l'argent, mais pendant les prend plus de temps, l'école là, l'idée a changé et il était juste voulu aider les gens. So, il retourne encore, là, il finit garder le collège, là, il prend LSAT là, il n'est pas passé avec un gros assez point. So, il prend un petit temps. Et là, chercher tête il expliquait que les vivre, il cherchait, il retourner reconnaître tête le travail, mais pendant le travail là 3 mois, il vient révoquer lui. Mais après ça, quand même, COVID vient venir. Il allait dans l'école pour devenir avocat et il dit qu'il passe une bonne expérience et c'est un poster child pour l'école là. Et puis tout, il a pensé, ok, tout ça finit arriver, tout va bien qu'on y a, la vie continue, mais c'est pas ça, l'histoire pas qu'on finit. Il allait pour lui passer bar là, qui c'est examen avocat au prend, pour capable et venir un avocat pour État, il pas passé lui, mais pendant temps il vient recouvrir passion li gagne pour l'apprendre. Mais ça dernier ça partie il quitter nous c'est que penser au gain dans tête toi, gain c'est pas ça bon Dieu gain pour gain les obligé chercher l'autre gens, faire l'autre bagaille pour capable arriver quand on veut arriver à.
Just listening to you guys, it's the human side of it, you know, because people, they'll see us as oh, you guys are attorneys, like you guys probably never struggled. And it's like, yes, we have. Like, this is like, what are you talking about? There's some attorneys that probably had, you know, different lives. You know, these are some of these attorneys are attorneys who like they have. Some of them have generational wealth. Some of them have, you know, great-great-grandfathers were attorneys, and, you know, if you follow that lineage all the way down, right, you find nothing but attorneys and doctors. That's not our story.
Right.
So, as far as me, when I listen to you guys' story and failures that you guys faced, I can't help but think of mine. Like, I faced failures, and I think going back to what Tim said is, what are you going to do with that failure? You know, like, how are you going to let it define you? What are you going to do with it when you're taking the next step? How are you going to look at it and learn from it and do better? As far as me, I've never been like a top-notch student. I was always a smart kid. Like, as far as like test scores, I was always up there, you know, with my test scores. But as far as like grades in class, they didn't match. So if you saw my grades in class and my test scores, you'd say this is not the same kid. So you can tell what I took serious, and I kind of like coasted throughout my whole, you know, from elementary on to high school. And in high school, when I was introduced to sports, being somebody who plays sports, now you're really coasting. Teachers kind of let you, you know, do your thing because they're expecting you to, you know, go off to college, get a scholarship. And I was on that path, but obviously there's an academic side of it too. If you're not at a 2.0, you're not going to get that scholarship. So I was at a crossroads my senior year where I started playing organized football my freshman year, and it started to really click. I was always an athletic kid, but then I started to learn how to play football. So then scholarship offers were, you know, they were coming. They started to come, but I couldn't play my senior year because I was academically ineligible. That happened because, you know, I wasn't taking school serious. I wouldn't show up sometimes. Or sometimes if I was there, I'd just be in lunch all day, or I'd leave early. I had a car, so I'd leave early, go to the mall. I just didn't take those things serious, and I got a reality check my senior year because all that stuff was taken away from me. And when that happened, I had some friends who kind of introduced me to just my faith in Christ. I was always someone who knew about religion but didn't have a real personal relationship with the Lord. And when that happened to me, when all that got taken away from me, it's like, what do you do now? You know, football season is here. All your friends are at practice. They all have something to do. You have nothing to do. So now it kind of walked me into that, and it allowed me to take things serious. So I went from 1.7 that senior year, and I brought it all the way up to a 2.5, which is, you know, it's really hard to do. So I had to pack on a whole bunch of classes. I did a whole bunch of after-school stuff, and I was able to bring it up. I was able to go to school. I did get a scholarship based on my game film from my junior year and stuff like that. And I ended up just traveling all over the place for just still chasing that football dream. But from that failure in high school, I never looked back. I was an AB student in college. An AB student in law school, somewhat, depending on what class it was and what day it was. And just embracing those failures led me to, well, during undergrad when I played college ball, you meet another crossroads, like, you're probably not going to go to the league, right? You're probably not going to be a professional football player. So you got to figure something out. So, you know, I did at some point, and while I was doing an externship, I was in inner city schools in Miami. I was at Madison Middle School. I don't know if you know Madison. It was in
I know.
Little Havana.
Yeah.
I think it was in Little Havana.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the city. So it was good. I had fun there, and I got to a point where they asked you, okay, what do you want to do after this externship? And I always thought about law school. But I was going to go into behavioral health because I felt like I'd always be dealing with kids. So I was like, behavioral health. And I explained to the teacher that I was helping out in her classroom why I would do that as opposed to law school. I told her basically I don't want to do the extra year of schooling because you get your master's 2 years. I didn't want to do the 3 years of law school. And she was like, so because of that extra year, you don't want to be an attorney? I was like, yeah. And she was like, you're lazy. She said that to me. She said, you're lazy. And that shifted everything for me. From that point on, I started studying for the LSAT. I took it. I think I got like 145, so it wasn't even that high of a score. I applied for law school, I got in, but I say all that to say it's those failures, and it's also people that the Lord strategically places at those crossroads to kind of shift you and pull you and lead you to where you need to go. Her name was Miss Green, this teacher. And yeah, I did it as a, I'm a Christian man. I'm not going to say why I did what I did, but I did it to prove her wrong, basically. A big, like, hey.
Motivation.
Yeah. What your single said? Child, please. It was one of those. And it actually ended up moving me to doing what ultimately I'll probably be doing for the rest of my life. So, yeah. It was a lot, huh?
No, it's okay. I wrote it down. I'm just really inspired by you guys right now, just to say that. So, Vlad expliquait que yo gen wè trois jeunes professionnels sa chita la ou pense que yo pa gen échec, pa gen difficulté, que la vie a été bien pour yo. Yo compare yo avec avocat que papa yo te avocat, papa yo te avocat et que yo même yo te yon entré dans linéage là. Mais il a expliqué pour expérience pal ke li fè et ke li di ke li même li te yon jeune ti garçon l'école ke li pat vraiment remè à l'école. Lèl prend examen, li fè bien la d'ailleurs, mais grade li an dans l'école là pat bon même. Mais lèl rive dans high school comme un senior, li te vle a jouer football dans collège, mais à cause des grades li pat ka ale, il était obligé de travailler vraiment dur pour capable monter GPA li from 1.7 jusqu'à 2.5. Même là, l'arrivée dans le collège, je viens réaliser que études là important et qu'il est obligé de bon grade pour continuer. Là, il est dans la school. Il parle d'une expérience qu'il était fait un externship dans l'école et un professeur qui était vraiment challenge lui. Professeur a demandé qui ça voulait faire, il dit qu'il veut travailler avec Timon dans behavioral health. So il y a deux choix entre avocat ou travailler avec Timon dans behavioral health. Mais la raison que il voulait aller dans l'autre là, c'est parce qu'il prend moins de temps et professeur a le paresseux. Et à cause de ça, parole professeur a dit là, ça motive lui pour lui aller dans l'école, pour lui venir avocat, mais pour lui-même, il était fait un courant, on parlait mal, m'a montré, mais non sens, il dit que c'est pas simplement échec, mais les bon Dieu mettez des moun dans chemin pour capable encourager, pour aider, pour challenge, et débarrasser ça aider l'empile pour arriver côté arriver qu'on y a.
How does, now that you guys kind of know what your purpose is right now, and I say right now because I do strongly believe that purpose shifts. Like it's not going to be, like I said, when your purpose when you're 20 is not going to be the same when you're 60, 50. So right now, in what your purpose is now, how does that shape your day to day?
I think for me, it's funny because like I've been talking about like the whole time, like the mentality that you get from doing sports growing up is you're always going to be able to take it everywhere you go. My purpose makes me work harder, My purpose makes me, maybe I got to stay a little bit late today, but I'm trying to do my purpose. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to win too, though. I'm trying to win. I know Jerry's the same way. Yeah. You'll find Jerry at the jail with his client at 9:30, 10 p.m. on a Wednesday. Because
trying to get it.
We and I don't want to speak for you, but I think we just feel strongly in our purpose. We feel strong about our purpose. We feel like it's what we're supposed to do, and sometimes you'll be there, you'll be in that place. I'll be at the office early, I'll be there late, I'll be at home doing some work, I'll be driving an hour out to Belgrade to the jail. Jerry will be at the jail late at night, and you might think, you can think about it in two ways. You can think, man, why do I have to be here right now? Or you can think about it, like when I went to this wrestling camp and when I was a junior in high school, there was this phrase that they printed out that we put up on our wall. Everybody had it on their wall, and I still have it. And it's not on my wall right now, but I'm thinking about putting it back up. And it says, "Get up and train while your opponent is sleeping." And I think my purpose makes me in my everyday life, not every single day, but it makes me get up and train while my opponent is sleeping. That's I know it's a little abstract, but I feel like that.
Those who don't know.
Yeah.
OK. So, question c'est que qui Jean mission ou bien dans la vie et décider j'en vivre chaque jour. Tu m'expliquais que lui-même lui fait le travail puis dit parce que livre les gagner. Lui tellement lui convaincre dans ça l'affaire. Lui connaît que c'est ça lui t'a doué à faire. So lui gon conviction qui fait le travail puis dit lui la ouais client yo ta lui kon 8h30 9h il a li dans prison, il a parlé avec client yo et enfin il dit gain qu'a penser avec les deux gens soit plein dit pour qui ça me là ou bien gain penser qu'il était apprendre elle était jeune qui dit pour lever pour entraîner pendant monde qui contre l'abdomen.
Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir. I think Mr. KAPLAN definitely touched everything on the head. Being in my purpose now has definitely helped me work on my craft, because when you're helping people, you get inspired by their story. You get inspired by the things that what they have to lose. It's essentially like I don't want to lose myself, and I don't want you to lose the position you're in. In our job, we have immigration consequences, we got family consequences, we got financial consequences, we got career consequences. These are the people's lives at stake. And being in my purpose now has definitely sparked another fire to like, whoa. A little preparation for me goes 10 times longer because this guy's staying out of jail. A little preparation for me goes 20 times longer. This guy's not losing his house. This guy could get a job. This guy does not have a felony on his record. So being in my purpose now, what's a little sleep to a guy that depends on me to save his car or save his house or save his family, save his career. Walking in my path has definitely inspired me. My purpose now has definitely inspired me to keep going. Like, if you thought I was gonna stop, I'm not gonna stop.
Let's go.
Not gonna stop.
OK, so capable de sentir avec toute inspiration que Jerry a parlé, il dit que et carrière li inspiré li parce qu'il est inspiré avec client yo, il pas voulu pour yo perdu et lui même tout il pas voulu perdu. Il dit de la penser avec et ça la faire parce que tout n'importe qui effort li bay l'avion man ka impacté by ça client yo qui doit maintenant ka perdu travail li ou bien kay li ou bien parce que tout ça pas fait l'avion man ka affecté par ça so pour lui même il voulait continuer travail du et rester dans mission.
I think for me right now, the stage I'm in, I'll be 34 in December. I have a wife, I have kids. So as far as purpose for me, I think it has redefined itself as I've gotten older. So completing law school and becoming a prosecutor, initially it's and it still is, it's to make sure like the community's safe. It's also make sure that I'm administering justice fairly. That's and I tell like the younger prosecutors too, like you're walking into the courtroom with a bazooka. Yeah, a bazooka in your hand, but do you really need to use a bazooka? You know what I'm saying? Like, can you use something else to accomplish the goal? Because the law's on our side, especially Florida law. it being that, punishment is the first objective. Like, the law's on our side from that standpoint. But you, in your discretion, and let's, say discernment as well, you need to be able to look at something and make the right call. It doesn't always mean that you gotta, like, go for blood. And when it's time to do that, when it's time to get a bad person off the street, you have all the tools in your arsenal to do that. So I still have that perspective. I still go about my day to day like that to make sure I'm keeping my community safe. And I'm from here. I'm a Palm Beach County person. I'm born and raised here, so it hits a little different for me. Like, when I read a PC, I know where that is. Like, I've been to that place. Like, I read a PC and I could put myself on the intersection of Congress and Atlantic. I know exactly what it looked like. So it looked different for me. I could put myself in that story. So with that being said, I still approach my job the same way. But now that I'm settling into my role as, a husband, a father, I make sure I'm balancing those things. If I do need to stay up late and prep a case, or I need to stay at work late and prep a case to make sure it's ready to go, I owe the community that. I owe the defendant that too. I can't, half step. When I'm bringing these charges against you, I better be able to prove it. I better be able, because I got you coming to court. I got your family coming to court. I better be able to prove this charge, right? Or I should have dropped it, a month ago, right? So I make sure I prepare in that way. But like I said, I want my weekends for my kids, for my wife. I want to enjoy those activities and watch them grow. So my purpose has shifted from that standpoint. And I believe your purpose will shift too when you get to those places in those walks of life. My next question after personally interprets, go ahead, I'm going to let you do that.
Okay.
I don't want to jump the gun.
Can't wait.
We got a time slot.
So, Vlad ap explike ke misyon ka chanje, ka gen shift ki fè la dan. Li menm kounye a kom yon mesye marye, e li gen pitit, li pa gen 34 an, panse li diferan, misyon li diferan. E pi pou li menm tou, paske li leve nan Palm Beach County, li vle assurer que la communauté a été en sécurité. So, la fait travail li fait travail li bien. Et li dit que l'on case vient devant li ka imaginer côté bagay l'arrivé à. Li gon émotion qui connecte li avec communauté ça. So, li vle assurer que li travaille bien. Et en même temps, la pour le balancer entre carrière li et puis famille. Et en dernier point, il dit que en pile fois kote ou ye kounye a, li pa prete même jan, bi ou mission ka chanje, depan de kote ou ye nan la vie.
I wanted to ask you too, like, on this journey, all of us are in this race called life, right? So on your journey, on your path, how do you know when you've gotten to a point, or you've let's say you've met someone and it's supposed to shift something for you? How do you know whether to entertain that or whether to say, nah, that's not for me?
That's a good question. I guess, I mean, it's a balancing act, right? Like, I think you have to be able to understand that that's an important part of your life, while at the same time they have to accept that, like we talked about, this is an important purpose of our life. I think when the time comes to shift focus more, I think it comes naturally. I don't think you have to choose, to be honest, Vlad. I think, like I said at the start of the show, you'll know what doing the right thing looks like, and I know you take your career and your purpose seriously when it comes to your job, and I also know you take your family seriously, and sometimes you're gonna have to take away from one to give to the other, but it's a balance.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. You can really talk about it more than me because I don't have a family, I don't have kids. But I think when you know, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's a balance. Mr. Williams?
I can agree. We're gonna let the interpreter speak.
Oh, my
If you
bad.
want, I can go, but I'll let you speak.
No, you can go.
Yeah, because I haven't really came to that crossroads yet, right? I did early on, without kids or without, I had a spouse and she wanted to get serious. She wanted me to marry her. But that was right after I failed the bar. And for me, I'm like, well, I can't provide, and I feel like I haven't gotten where I want to be right now, so I can't really do that to you, right?
Yeah.
I can't really do that for you, and so I say if I do come across another crossroads, I believe God put her in my life for a reason, and we're just gonna evaluate all the options at that point, and I can only hope to be like you yourself, Mr. Vladimir. CELUNICE. You're a great man.
I appreciate that.
You're inspiring.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
So, question c'est que si pendant nan wout yo rekounye a, on moun ou bien on bagay ta vini, eske ap deside, eske ap kontinye sa ou bien sa se pa pou yo. So, ti m'explike que Jan tap pale depi nan komanseman show a, nou tout vle fè bagay ki doat, e depi se salye pou wap kompran, wap konen, wap kompran, e wap pran chos lan, e li bay an lot analogi de ke, e li bay Vlad komon ekzamp, ke gen de la pou oblige retire nan men yon pou l bay lot lan, men toutan se chache yon balans, e le arrive wap kon ki sa pou fè. E Jerry repon ke sa li pa gen menm eksperyans lan, men sa te rivel deja ke li te avek an moun ki te vle plus, men li menm nan moman li pa kapab bali sa, men li ti si sa ta rivel ankor, li gen M. Vlad komon bon ekzamp pou kapab ede li nan san sa.
So we are wrapping up, but I want to leave our listeners with something. Specifically those listeners, which should be everybody, who's trying to map out their own journey. What's one thing that you think that person can do this week to move towards that, to move towards clarity on what they should be doing with their lives?
I think that I used to, so there was someone like on the internet or something that used to say, imagine where your life would be a year from now if you had everything that you wanted. So like, imagine if in a year you had everything went perfect, right? Take one step toward that, whether it means going to the gym, whether it means hitting the books, whether it means going to the beach, maybe you need to relax more, and that's part of it too. But I would say, and I think this is something that I talked about the last time I was here, which was take one small step. If you can get 1% better every day, you're 365% better at the end of the year. That's what I would say.
I can agree with that. I say, if we wake up today, you know what you have to do. I always knew what I had to do, whether it was whether it was studying for the LSAT that day, whether it was going out for a run, or whether it was contacting that person. So it's just it's been the same message throughout the entire show. So my one thing is, listen to yourself. I think you are an individual person, right? God made you. I'm Jerry. He's Vlad. He's Tim. Like, we've been, like, you're yourself, right? At the end of the day, and you know, follow that path. Follow you, right? Trust you, and that's it. That's the only advice that I have is trust you. So, thank you.
Ok, so question c'est que si gen yon sel bagay ou te kapab fè pour capable avancer, pour capable gagner une mission qui plus claire, comment ça va faire. So, si on répond que imaginez qui j'en la vie tapé en année. So, imaginez comme 23 octobre 2026. Qui j'en la vie, qui j'en tablé la vie taillée et pour on ti pas chaque jour avec ça. So, si c'est ça lié, si c'est étudier pour étudier, ou bien si c'est aller dans gym pour pas perdre poids, ou bien si vous besoin faire pour relaxer tout ça, ça y a le faire prendre on étape chaque jour et un an après on petit plus loin que vous avez commencé à. Et j'ai répondu que nous tous connaissons qui ça nous gain pour faire. On connaît soit c'est pour étudier ou bien si on moun pour te relé moun dans salle ya ou getan connaît qui ça lié mais c'est pour faire. Dernier et suggestion li c'est que côté tête, OK, bon Dieu créé en gens, tout créé différemment et au compte tout so tendez tête tout suivre sauve les faire et pas camper.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll get back to you, Connection Please family.
The Assisted Living and Caregivers Conference is Florida's #1 conference for senior care entrepreneurs.
Carlene and the entire team, unbelievable, and I encourage everybody to come here to learn.
Carlene is very much in the forefront of the development of assisted living facilities, and what's so amazing is that she has the foresight.
And my experience was really amazing. I've got to meet so many people, learn about different avenues of business that I didn't even know were important and super prevalent in this area. So I feel like I've gained a lot of knowledge.
Carlene is an innovator in this area. I think that this specific event has merged both the providers of health for the elderly and for the assisted living industry in itself, but it also has given such insight to families.
I think it's extremely beneficial to attend conferences like this, and it's extremely beneficial because you're able to network, you're able to meet different people from different avenues that can help with developing your ALF.
Today I learned a lot, especially living in a state like Florida where, you know, we have a high demand for things like this. So I think that this is a great program to, you know, engage with the community and provide insights on, you know, assisted living.
To bring you pure value and resources that will change your life. Register today and I will see you in the room. The Assisted Living and Caregivers Conference is Florida's #1 conference for senior care entrepreneurs.
Carlene and the entire team, unbelievable, and I encourage everybody to come here to learn.
Carlene is very much in the forefront of the development of assisted living facilities, and what's so amazing is that she has the foresight.
And my experience was really amazing. I've got to meet so many people, learn about different avenues of business that I didn't even know were important and super prevalent in this area. So I feel like I've gained a lot of knowledge.
Carlene.
Connection Police, we're back. We left off with a question that I had for the guys. I think I asked them, what's one thing that they would say to our listeners to help them move towards clarity? and clarity as far as their purpose. I wanted to chime in on that question as well. I actually heard this verse this morning on my way to work. It's James 1. James 1 verse 5. It says, "If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and unbraids not, and it shall be given to him." So, basically, what the reason why this verse came to me, not just because I heard it this morning, but just based on that question. If you need clarity on something like that, on what your purpose is and what the Lord has for you, why not ask the person who created you? You know, why not ask your Creator to shed light and give you clarity on your purpose? And based on that verse, it says that He gives you that wisdom freely. So, gentlemen, any last words?
Well, and I won't do as good as that, but I'll try to hit the viewers with a little Tim Kaplan Bible wisdom. And it's that we talked today about purpose, about leaving your comfort zone. I always think about Moses. We call him Moshe, the book of Exodus. He could have lived an easy life out in the desert with his wife and his family, but he had a purpose. He had a purpose, and it was a dangerous journey. And he had to go back into Egypt. He had to free his people. They spent 40 years in the desert. It was never easy. He could have taken the easy road. He could have stayed where he was, not gone back into Egypt, but he chose to live his purpose, and now he's eternal, right? Yeah. His name is eternal. He became immortal by stepping out of his comfort zone, living his purpose, doing what God wanted him to do. And I think in our own small way, we can all try to be a little more like Moses every day by doing what we feel like God wants us to do. And thank you for having me again, KONEKSYON Plus. Thank you, Pastor Ben.
Absolutely.
Thank you, KONEKSYON Plus. Thank you, Pastor Ben. Thank you, Vladimir. Thank you, Tim Kaplan, for the wise words, because can't beat that.
Nous disons gros merci. On va un gros applaudissement avec Monsieur Sayo. Amen. On dit merci à Vlad, merci à Tim, merci à Jerry et merci à ce Postelin qui fait un travail extraordinaire. On dit merci à tout le monde qui a regardé Connexion Plus. On dit un gros merci à l'équipe technique qui fait un travail extraordinaire. Nous voulons encourager que la vie a un paquet de défis là-dedans. Mais défis ça nous avons besoin d'embrasser avec un peu de courage. Nous sommes dans des témoignages, Monsieur Sayo, témoignages de Jerry, des témoignages Tim et témoignages Vlad. Ils sont tous des avocats. En plus de fois, nous sommes dans tête l'échelle là, nous ne connaissons pas parcours. Et tu l'après-midi pour t'expliquer parcours, échec, comment que pas traiter dans la comfort zone. Mais tu sautes là-dedans, puis tu embrasser défi ça et pour que côté yo y aujourd'hui. Quand les conditions plus à soi. Par contre combien de fois fait échec déjà. Combien de fois la vie ou pas joindre sorte espérer. Même le faut connaître que bon Dieu a un plan pour la vie. Parfois bien sortir dans confort zone pour embrasser des challenges avec un peu de sérieux et pour changer mindset tout, ça va beaucoup plus maturité, pour réaliser rêve que mon Dieu veut à monde que mon Dieu veut. Nous avons rendez-vous demain soir, nous attendons tout dans YouTube pile sur Connexion Plus, nous passons une bonne soirée, que vous Dieu bénisse. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
As an innovator in this area, I think that this specific event has merged both the providers of health for the elderly and for the assisted living industry in itself, but it also has given such insight to families.
I think it's extremely beneficial to attend conferences like this, and it's extremely beneficial because you're able to network, you're able to meet different people from different avenues that can help with developing your ALF.
Today I learned a lot, especially living in a state like Florida where, we have a high demand for things like this. So I think that this is a great program to, engage with the community and provide insights on, assisted living.
To bring you pure value and resources that will change your life. Register today and I will see you in the room. The Assisted Living and Caregivers Conference is Florida's #1 conference for senior care entrepreneurs.
Carlene and the entire team, unbelievable, and I encourage everybody to come here to learn.
Carlene is very much in the forefront of the development of assisted living facilities. And what's so amazing is that she has the foresight.
And my experience was really amazing. I've got to meet so many people, learn about different avenues of business that I didn't even know were important and super prevalent in this area. So I feel like I've gained a lot of knowledge.
Carlene is an innovator in this area. I think that this specific event has merged both the providers of health for the elderly and for the assisted living industry in itself, but it also has given such insight to families.
I think it's extremely beneficial to attend conferences like this. And